The solution is that the president should convoke a National Council of State meeting. And in National Council of State meeting, he will raise the issue of the imbalance in geopolitical state arrangement to say that Southeast should be given one state. Now, if that is approved by Council of State, then all the issue of alterations in the Constitution will be done expeditiously, because I know the type of democracy.
So you have to get the buy-in of the president.
Yeah, that is why we are saying that President Tinbu has to make himself a hero. And I know him.
Are you reaching out to him?
Yes, of course we are reaching out to him. Of course we are. There is nobody better standing now to give us this state, if not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
State creation. 36 states and counting, including the federal capital. People, some interest one additional state. Of course, there are legal provisions for that. So as long as it exists, the clamor will always be there. Don't you think so?
Yes, of course, because there's we have legal provision in Section 8 of 1999 Constitution as amended on how states will be created. But we'll come to that later. So the clamor for 31 additional states, to me, is wishful thinking. Nobody should be talking about creating additional 31 states in the country as of today. Unless we're creating the states for the fun of it. Unless we're creating it for some people who want to be governors and senators and name them. If not, our economy cannot sustain creating additional 31 states. Let us even take a place like United States, for example. Alaska, which is the largest state in America, has a land mass twice of Nigeria. Alaska has a land mass of 1,700,000 and something square kilometers. Nigeria will only have about 923,000 square kilometers. But Alaska is less state.
But many of these areas are uninhabited.
Yeah, but
because of the extreme cold.
No, but it's less state. Okay, let us even go to California, which is taken to be the fifth largest economy in the world, with about 3.9 trillion GDP, dollars GDP. And the fifth economy in the world is still a state in America. So you can't be talking about creating states in Nigeria for the fun of it, no? But realistically, only one state is needed in Nigeria. That is one state coming from the southeast to correct the imbalance, to correct the inequity, just, fair, and politically expedient. It's only one state that is needed. We don't need more than one state at this point in time. And the reason for creation of the additional state is already what I said, to correct the existing imbalance.
What was the imbalance?
The imbalance is that all the zones of the Federation have 6 states. Even Northwest have 7, but Southeast is having only 5 states. By this, we are losing a lot of revenue coming from Federation accounts to the state. By this, we are losing a lot of political actors. Other zones in the country have 18 senators. Northwest have 21 senators. Southeast 15 senators. House of Reps, the same thing. So we're losing a lot. And in terms of even the other amenities, other things accruing to the zone, you know, whether we like it or not, since 1993, this issue of zonal arrangement started. And it has come to stay.
That's propagated by late Alex Ekwem.
Yes, so it has come to stay. So if it has come to stay, today we have development commissions in all the zones of the Federation. So it has come to stay. So if it has come to stay, equity must be done by making sure that all the zones have equality of state. That's what we should be talking about. Not clamoring for 31 additional states. No.
How have you been pushing for this injustice to be remedied for the Southeast in the National Assembly?
If you recall, in 2014, under President Goodluck Jonathan, at the Constitutional Conference Commission, this clamor came topmost in the agenda. Much as that conference recommended 18 additional states, 3 per zone, it also went further to recommend an additional state for the Southeast.
That's 4 in all.
That's 4 from the Southeast. Why the other ones will be 3 in number, making it 19. Those were their recommendations. And they even said in their recommendation that even if the other 18 should not be created, that the one state for Southeast should be created. So I think that is what we should be talking about now. Right now, we have gone full scale for this creation of one state from the Southeast. We have put it in the Senate, we have put it in the House of Representatives, and we're pushing, and we're making a case. For
what kind of responses are you getting?
Well, we're getting some genuine responses, and we're getting some political responses as well.
Let's start from the political responses.
No, political responses is that maybe you approach your colleague to give you support for this one state in South. He say, okay, even my people also need state. He knows that what he's talking is not realistic, but for the optics, that I'm agitating for state for my people, that might even earn him another re-election. So that's why I say for political reasons, but realistically.
So much of these agitations have political undertones to make it seem to the constituents that they are
of course,
active.
Of course, virtually 99% of them have political undertone. It's just for your people to see that you are working, that you are agitating for them to have a state. You know that what they are talking is not realistic, but you are saying it for the optics. So that is why I am saying that what we need right now is only one state. We don't need more than one state.
Is it achievable? Now let's go into the constitutional requirement, because I know that for other areas of the constitution, most areas, except one or two to be amended, is 2/3 majority at the National Assembly and the state assemblies, as it were, states of the federation. But for state creation, it's 4/5, making it almost practically impossible.
Well, apart from that, we also have to amend Section 9 of 1999 Constitution before we can achieve state creation in Section 8. Because Section 9 makes it almost impossible for states to be created. Even that Section 8 is very ambiguous, because Section 8, sub 1A, says that a request will be supported by 2/3 of National Assembly members, State Assembly members, and local government chairman members, 2/3. Then that is request. It goes further in Section 8.1 sub 2 to say that thereafter a referendum will be conducted. A referendum will be conducted by simple majority of the states of the federation, supported by simple majority of the houses of
across the entire country.
Yeah, so
to vote whether that state should be created
or not. Even that Section 8, 8 sub 1(2), sub 1B did not even define who conducts the referendum. It said referendum will be conducted how?
What about the presumption?
Is amorphous.
That is INEC.
No.
As the body that conducts the election.
No, but it is not clear. It's not clear.
So there has to be amendment.
Yeah, there has to be amendment to Section 8. It even goes further to say that 2/3 of, simple majority of the states, after the referendum has been approved, the simple majority of the states of the federation will also approve before simple majority of the houses of assembly. So if we say simple majority of the states of the federation, how? Is it that the governor wake up and announce that my state have endorsed the referendum, or what?
Or through their state assembly?
No, state assembly is still content.
Okay, apart from that.
You still
that's another ambiguous.
Yes, that's another ambiguity. Then he said, then the request will now be subjected to the National Assembly. Which request? Don't forget that Section 8 sub 1A said the request to be submitted. Now, after that, you jump to referendum. Then in the final analysis, you state the request. Which request again? So the whole thing is confusing.
So we'll get to Section 9.
Yeah, so Section 9 is even more interesting. Because Section 9 is even saying that 4/5 of the assembly members. If you look at Section 9, which is the alteration of the Constitution, it's very strict about two sections. Section 8 and Chapter 4, which deals with fundamental rights. So now he's saying that the 4/5 of the state houses of assembly will have to vote. 4/5 of members of the state of assembly will have to vote in 2/3 majority of the state. How do you climb this tightrope? So it's
nearly impossible. Those that framed the Constitution who didn't want states to be created. That's what some people may take away.
Yeah, but because the military did the last state creation in 1996. It does appear to me that when they did it, when they are also writing the 1999 Constitution, they foreclose the issues of constitution, of state creation. But because it's a piece of document that has gone through a series of alterations, so it can still be altered to suit.
So that should be the first step.
Yeah, that should be the first step. But let me tell you, in 1996, when the last state was created in October 1, 1996 by General Sani Abacha, if you look at
the likes of Bayelsa.
Yeah, if you look at the 6 states that were created, Bayelsa, Ebonyi, Gombe, Nasarawa, Ekiti. You can see this took turn. It recognizes the 6 geopolitical zones, because all the 6 geopolitical zones were given slot in that state creation.
Or did it follow similar pattern during IBB state
No,
creation?
it didn't follow similar pattern.
No,
it didn't follow similar pattern. But let me take you to the history of state creation in Nigeria.
No, apart from the one done under a democracy in the Midwest states.
Yes, that was in 1963. That was when the regions were renamed states. And we have 4 states in 1963. But between 1914 and 1960, we had regions, 3 regions, West, East, and North. Today, all the regions have 6 states and even 7 states. But one of the regions is now having 5 states. That is not correct. That is unfair. That has to be looked into. But I can tell you that the solution on how state will be created. The solution is that the president should convoke a National Council of State meeting. And in National Council of State meeting, he will raise the issue of the imbalance in geopolitical state arrangement to say that Southeast should be given 1 state. Now, if that is approved by Council of State, then all the issue of alterations in the Constitution will be done expeditiously, because I know the type of democracy.
So you have to get the buy-in of the president.
Yeah, that is why we are saying that President Tinbu has to make himself a hero. And I know him.
Are you reaching out to him?
Yes, of course we are reaching out to him. Of course we are. There is nobody better standing now to give us this state, if not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he's a go-getter. He knows that this has to be done during his time. Anybody that does this have already cured all the problems of this country.
Are there political gains for him to do so?
Of course.
Because he's a president that may face re-election.
A lot of political gains. If he does that, he can be rest assured that the Southeast states will vote for him. And you know there's something the Southeast has that other states do not have. Spread across the country. There is no place. Go to Damaturu, go to Funtua, go to anywhere. Apart from the indigenous population, the next highest population are the Igbos. So don't underrate that strength. So if Mr. President gives us this 1 state, it will be politically expedient for him, and it will cure a lot of ill feelings within the country. And he will come out as a hero.
It depends on how the rest of the country would key into that.
I'm telling you.
I don't need to explain to you how complex our country is.
No, it's not as complex as you think. We have done several things in this country. It's about the person at the helm of affairs telling people that this is what we are supposed to do.
We did doctrine of necessity.
Yes, but it worked.
It worked.
Didn't it work?
On a consensus basis.
Yes, I was in the Senate in 2007 to 2011 when we did that. It worked. So there's nothing difficult that we cannot achieve in this country. There's nothing. Except we're not telling ourselves the truth. Once we're telling ourselves the truth, we will achieve it. Look at today, we're having development commissions. If anybody had told you in the last couple of years that it will come to pass, it will probably be arguing with the person. But today it's there. And a huge sum of money has been voted for those commissions by Mr. President, which is a welcome.
And the North Central just got their own.
Yes, which is a welcome development.
But South is saying, give us our specific development commission, apart from NDDT.
No, we have already approved it. We have already
for the South.
Yeah, for the South.
Okay.
That has already been.
Is awaiting the assent?
Yeah, is awaiting the assent of the president, because the NDDC cannot rob them off a South Development Commission, because NDDC you also have Southwest there, you also have Southeast there, so it's a different arrangement. Although by the time we have the South Commission assented to. I will be coming with an amendment in the bill establishing the NDDC to remove the word Niger Delta.
Do we go back to UNPADEC?
Yes, oil producing state.
Oil minerals producing.
Oil mineral producing state. That will be the right and proper name by the time everything is
because
done.
if Komani oil field in Gombe, Bauchi area starts producing, they should be part of NDDC.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be called NDDC because it's not Niger Delta. So it should be called oil producing. So I'm coming with that amendment to amend the name. I'm not talking about amending
now,
the
how soon are we going to see this?
No, immediately the South-South Development Commission is assented to by Mr.
By the President.
Yeah, I will put in my amendment.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at that recourse to Regional Development Commission. Some people are saying perhaps it's the first step towards institutionalizing and bringing into our statutes, including the Constitution, the geopolitical goal structure. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm still with Senator Osita Izunaso, Chairman Senate Committee on Capital Market, and we are considering clamor for state creation in Nigeria, additional state creation. Before we went on break, we were talking about that Alex Ekwueme six-zonal structure that is yet to find its way into our constitution, but the political parties have adopted it. So should we pursue state creation as a way of achieving the equity and balance, or recourse to regional arrangements geopolitically?
Well, no matter how you look at it, it is still the same thing. Regional arrangements since 1993 have come to stay. Because today, we are talking about political balancing. Even in elective positions, even in distribution of political positions, we say give to Northwest, give to Northeast, give to Southwest, give to Southeast. So which means we have accepted that. Whether it is in our constitution or not, that is already what we are operating. And in operating that, there's more legitimacy to it now that we are running the development commissions. I told you earlier that even the South-South deserve their own. So we now have development commissions. And don't forget that the fund of this development commission, 15% comes from federation accounts of what is supposed to be going to those states will now go to the commission. So that is why we're saying whether we're going back to regionalism, we're going back to state, Southeast deserve an additional state before we can move forward. If we don't do that, then we're not being sincere to ourselves. And I believe we must be sincere to ourselves. Southeast, they deserve this state, in fact, more than ever before, because it is now that we're talking about regional development commissions. So that is when we need it more than ever before.
Okay, quite interesting. These states and the financial status, how feasible are these states that are struggling? We were told maybe 2 or 3 states that can survive without federation account. Without federation account, all the states will be lying prostrate on the floor, and yet additional clamor for states.
Yeah, that's why I told you that I do not believe that those states that are clamoring to be created will be viable. They will not be viable, economically and otherwise. Some of the states are struggling to pay the 70,000 minimum wage, and even labor is threatening to go on strike in March. Why? Because the states cannot pay. So you can't be talking about state creation for the fun of it. No. But we're saying conclude it by making sure that all the states have equality, all the zones have equality of states. When that is done, then we'll put a final full stop to state creation. If we must run through federalism, as it were, let the states go and fight for themselves.
What of issue of local?
Every legislative cycle, the National Assembly, through its Constitution Review Committee, attempts to amend some constitutional provisions considered obsolete or insert new provisions into the document in line with modern trends. While some of these amendments scale through, there are others that do not. It is worthy of note that since the inception of the Fourth Republic, there are proposals that have never gotten the nod of both the national and state assemblies. Some of this legislation include the creation of additional states and local governments. These legislation are very contentious and controversial, with the quest for dominance and political structure control among the 6 geopolitical zones playing out in each of these attempts. Against these odds, lawmakers keep pushing bills for state and local government creation, all in a bid to satisfy the yearnings of various ethnic nationalities in their constituencies. The Deputy Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, who chairs the Constitution Review Committee in the Green Chamber, announced on Thursday that 31 proposals have been received for the creation of additional states across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Kalu, in a letter read to his colleagues at plenary, gave the names of the proposed states across the 6 geopolitical zones as follows. In the North Central Geopolitical Zone, there are provisions for the creation of 3 states in present-day Benue State, namely Benue-Ala State, Apa Agba State, and Apa State. In Kogi State, the states proposed are Okun State, Okura State, and Confluence State. There is also a proposal for the creation of a 37 states to be called the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The proposed states for the Northeast geopolitical zones are Amana State from present-day Adamawa State, Katamgun State from present Bauchi State, Savannah State from Borno State, and Muri State from Taraba State. From the Northwest geopolitical zone, proposed states are New Kaduna State and Gurara State from present-day Kaduna State, Tiger State from Kano, Kainji State from Kebbi, and Gari State from Kano State. In the Southeast geopolitical zone, the proposed states are Etiti State, Adada State from present-day Enugu State, Urashi State, Olu State, as well as Aba State. From the South-South geopolitical zone, the proposed states are Ogoja State from present-day Cross River State, Warri State from Delta State, Bori State from Rivers State, Obolo State from Rivers, and Akwa Ibom States. In the Southwest geopolitical zone, the proposed states are Toru Ebe State from Delta, Edo, and Ondo States, Ibadan State from present-day Oyo State, Lagun State from present-day Lagos State, Ijebu State from present-day Ogun State, Lagun State from present-day Lagos and Ogun State, as well as Oke-Ogun and Ifesha State from present-day Ogun, Oyo, and Osun States. Some economists and political watchers in the country have always questioned the rationale behind creating new states, why the existing ones are not self-sufficient. But as always, the final decision rests with the national and state assemblies, whose concurrence is essential in making these proposals